Alright, good morning guys. Logan also with Triton Fitness again. Today is Wednesday, which means we'll be hitting chest and back. Right over there is the workout for today. We've got 6 exercises. 3 of them are going to be push-ups, so your chest and your triceps are going to be a little sore. But we've got Supermans for the first one, decline push-ups, bent over row, incline push-ups, good mornings, and time under tension push-ups. So all we're going to need for today is you need either a backpack or you can grab a gallon of milk, just something with weight for the rows, and then you just need an elevated surface for the incline and decline push-ups. And if you'd like, this is optional, you can grab like a broomstick or something for the good mornings to put behind your head, or you can always just, for the good mornings, you're always able to just put your hands on the back of your head like this instead. So the first one we're going to have for today will be Superman, so just laying on our stomachs, feet out in front, hands out in front of us. We're just coming up, back down, just like this. If that's too difficult, you can do what are called like Aquamans and do one arm and one leg, just alternating like this. And that's if Supermans are too hard, and that's lifting both legs and both arms at the same time. Next one we'll have is decline push-ups. So feet on a bench, hands on the ground, and we're just coming down, remembering to keep your back flat. We'll be doing decline push-ups today. Next is single arm bent over row. Like I said, you just need something with weight. You can grab something laying around the house, like I have here, or you can grab like a backpack, fill it with some books. All we're doing is you're gonna hip hinge forward, let your arm hang, and you're just gonna pull back. Once your elbow passes your back, then you just bring it back down and pull back up. Today we're doing 3-minute rounds again, just like always. So we're going to do 1.5 minutes on one side, 1.5 minutes on the other. Next we'll have incline push-ups after that. So on our elevated surface again, this time the exact opposite. Your hands will be on it, feet will be on the ground. Go down to your chest. Once your chest touches the bench, push right back up. We're doing just like this the whole time. Remember guys, anytime you're doing something inclined, the higher the incline, the easier it'll be, because you're going to be standing more on your feet. For decline, it'll be the opposite. The higher the incline, the harder it'll be. So the closer to a flat push-up, the easier it'll be compared to an incline or a decline push-up, and vice versa with incline push-ups. So just use whatever you need around the house, whether it's like the side of a chair versus the front of it, or the back of a chair versus the front of it, whatever you gotta do. Or if you need to use the couch, go right ahead. Or even if you need to just alternate, take out decline and incline and do just flat push-ups, that's fine. So the next one we'll have for you are good mornings. Like I said, you can grab a broom, something just to put over your back. And you're just gonna lean forward, hip hinging, keeping your legs straight. You want to kind of almost tabletop, so getting your back parallel with the ground if you can. Just going all the way down, getting that stretch in. You'll feel that stretch in your hamstrings if you keep your legs nice and straight, but you'll be working that lower back by moving up and down the whole time. Just down and right back up. Keeping that back nice and flat, shoulder blades pulled back. And last, we're going to be doing what are called time under tension push-ups. So just regular push-up position, except we're going to be coming down nice and slow, and then coming up nice and slow. Try to knock out as many of those as you can. Really take your time, go as slow as you can. Obviously, if you need to speed it up just a little bit, that's all right. The idea with those is it helps build muscle mass a little bit more, It helps with those micro tears in your muscle fibers. So just take your time. Don't worry. Focus more on the form than you are on repping out as many push-ups as you can. First thing we're going to do today is warm up. So we're just going to open our chest. Stretch out those pecs and those shoulders a little bit. Because we're going to be in push-up position about half the time today. That'll put a little bit of strain on our shoulders. Alright, we're going to do some shoulder taps real quick. Remember, push-up position, just tapping the opposite shoulder. Try to avoid rocking and turning like this. You really want to just stay straight up and down as you can. You're going to do it for a few seconds. Alright, we're going to come up. Next, all we're going to do is do a few jumping jacks, just kind of loosen our legs up too. Get our heart rate moving. Alright, last one, we're just going to do 5 push-ups, just kind of warm everything up a little bit more since we're going to be doing a lot of these. Remember guys, when you do push-ups, make sure to keep your back flat. Don't want to put your butt up in the air too much. Don't arch your back either. And just take your time. You don't have to knock them out super fast like I did. Just do what you're capable of. If you want to up the number a little bit, you can. If you can only do 2 or 3, that's fine. Also, if you need to, you can always do push-ups on your knees like this and just take out the weight of your legs a little bit. That is an option. Make sure you guys have water with you today. Again, we'll be doing 3-minute rounds with 30-second rests. First one we've got is Superman's.
3, 2, 1, go.
Remember guys, keeping our arms out in our legs. Really squeezing at the top. Again, we're taking our time. We're in no rush, just focusing on the movement at hand. Halfway done. Remember guys, if Supermans are too hard, you can always alternate and do opposite. You're alternating arm and leg, doing what are called Aquamans, and just Raise one at a time. Remember, just like Superman's, taking our time, focusing on the movement, making sure we're really squeezing our back at the top. It's always about form rather than doing as many as possible. Thirty more seconds. $15.
Three, two, one. Rest.
Alright. Grab some water. Next we've got decline push-ups. Remember guys, the higher the elevated surface, the harder it's going to be. The lower it is, the easier it's going to be for you. So just adjust or find something that works for you. If you have a harder, the surface that you're working with is a little bit higher than you are capable of doing for the full 3 minutes, work it out in sets. Do like 10, stand up, relax, do 10 more, and just keep busting through it. We're going to get right into it real quick. Whew. My fingers are getting a little stiff from Monday. Make sure guys, if you need, shaking out those arms. I know your triceps are probably a little burnt out from Monday's workout. Mine are definitely feeling it, so are my biceps a little bit. I'm just busting these out in sets of 10, giving myself a few seconds in between. Trying to get the blood flowing back down to my arms a little bit. Whew. Just 30 more seconds. Almost there. 15 more seconds.
Three, two, one. Rest.
Whew. Alright guys, grab some water real quick. Next up we've got bent over rows. So grab whatever you're using for your weighted object. You can use anything from backpack with some books in it. We've got like a gallon. Well, technically this is not full, but a gallon of like milk or water. You can grab a can, or you can just grab something laying around the house. Like we've got this big old camera, for example. All we're gonna be doing is hip hinging, letting it hang in front of us, and we're just pulling back so that our elbow passes our back, and really squeezing at the top. If you need to, another alternative is you can grab like a couch, bench. It needs to be couch or a bench because the chair is not going to be long enough. And you're going to put one leg on it and one arm. And just like we were, keeping that back flat, looking forward, and you're just going to row right backwards. Really making sure to squeeze at the top, because it's all about form than it is just throwing the weight around. All right, it's 1.5 minutes. So we're switch sides. Remember guys, if whatever object you're using is too heavy, don't be afraid to either find something lighter or try and work with that and challenge yourself a bit. I always, even if it's not something you're used to, believe that if you grab something a little more difficult, you just push through it. If you're keeping good form, that's all that matters. Just focus on that form. And eventually, if that weight's too much, eventually it'll be easier than the weight you did before. Again, if you need a slight alternative so you're not standing up, especially for those of you who have a little worse balance than me, it's always okay to grab like a bench or a couch. Just one knee on top, one hand, you're just rowing back. Goal is to keep your back nice and flat while you do it.
3, 2, 1, rest.
Alright guys, should I put this back? Move this out of the way. Remember, grab some water. We've got about 20 more seconds. Then we've got incline push-ups.
Three, two, one, go.
Whew. Remember guys, just like any push-up, you want to keep your back flat. Anytime you're doing pretty much anything, keep that core engaged. Two more minutes. Whew. It's alright, I tried my best to put the easier exercises near the end, because I know everyone's going to be feeling a little gassed.
What?
Alright, it's 1.5 minutes. Halfway done. make sure you guys have stretched out your shoulders a little bit beforehand. I know we did a little bit, doing shoulder taps and everything, keeping them warmed up. Got one more minute. Just got about 25 more seconds or so. Just trying to stretch my wrists out a bit. Almost done. 15 more seconds.
3, 2, 1. Rest.
Alright, we're just gonna push that to the side. Grab our water. We're on to our 5th exercise for today. Second to last. We've got good mornings. Remember, if you need or you would like, you can grab like a broomstick.
3,
Just something to put behind your back.
go.
All we're doing is behind our back. We're just hinging. If your hamstrings are a little tight, you can always give them a little bit of bend. They don't have to be locked out.
Now, what's the key to the good morning, the movement? They're not just bending over.
Yeah, you're not just bending over. You kind of want to, it's what we call hip hinge. You'll hear me mention it a lot. So you're taking right here in your midsection and just driving your hips and your butt back rather than just leaning forward. I mean, you kind of do it naturally when you lean forward just to adjust for balance and weight, but you're just taking your hips and you're driving them behind you. So your chest kind of almost stays in place like above my toes, if you notice.
Yep. Versus
Me being all the way over here where I'm standing on my toes because all my weight is leaning forward. So it's to make sure you keep that weight in the heels. And all putting something behind your back does is make sure you're keeping that back nice and tight and engaged.
Trying to keep that flat back, yeah. I can see that.
Like I said, if you need to give your knees a little bend, that's all right. They don't need to be perfectly straight, but they shouldn't be. You shouldn't be bending down like this. You want to keep them as straight as they'll go. And if you need to, if you don't have pull stick or a broomstick or something, you always put your hands behind your back. Same thing, keeping those shoulder blades back and just driving your hips behind you. Shoulders are killing me, especially after Monday and today.
Rest.
Just relax. Last thing we have are time under tension push-ups. which are just slow and controlled. So those ones are, especially being last for today's workout, those ones are gonna hurt a little bit, feel a little bit worse than they normally would. Your triceps and chest on fire a little bit.
3, 2,
Now they can do these in an incline as well if they're having trouble,
You can
or a
do
kneel.
time under tension. All that is the amount of time it takes you to go down and up. It's the amount of the time that you're keeping those muscles under tension. The longer they are, the harder it is. You don't want to obviously go so slow that you're not moving, but you need to go at about a reasonable pace, like a 5-second count down is usually good, or whatever works. And you can either do just the way down, or you can do a slow push up as well, and vice versa. You can either do both or one or the other, whichever one works. And like I mentioned, if you need to, go on your knees. If you need to, you can drop to your knees like this, especially for any kind of push-up, really. It's a little harder for decline, just because your feet are up in the air, but you're just on your knees and you'll just come down and right back up. Remember, the idea is you either want to go slow down and explode up, or go down fast and sorry, I'm trying to catch my breath as I'm talking. You go down, you come up nice and slow. Or you can do both, which is going to be a little harder. Well, a lot harder at this point. Going nice and slow down. Once your chest is down, back up nice and slow. You're really going to have to push if you're doing both. We just got about a minute left, and then we're done for the day. There my dad goes, dropping my phone on the floor.
Paid for.
You don't have to use it every day though. Your
true.
phone is safe right now, it's sitting on the table. Almost done. About 10 more seconds, and then we're finished for today.
Three, two, one, done.
Alright guys, grab some water real quick. Give yourself a minute to catch your breath. And then we'll get into stretching. Alright, we're gonna, because we worked our rear delts a little bit, we're gonna just pull our arm across, just like we did on Monday. Pull back with the other arm, keeping this arm as straight as you can. Just pull back until you feel that stretch. Make sure you're breathing. And switch. Relax. Next, just on our knees, hands out in front of us, we're gonna sit back into our heels and really arch that back, stretch it out a little bit. Relax. Then we're going to lay down. Put your arms out next to you. Almost like you're a T. You're going to look one direction and your opposite leg. So if I'm looking to my right leg is going to come behind me. I'm going to stretch that lower back. Trying to keep my chest as flat to the ground as I can. Really stretching out that back.
That just looks painful.
It's definitely not fun, but it does crack your back a little bit. It does feel great, especially after the Supermans. Alright, and switch. Remember guys, look the other way. I'm looking left, I'm taking my left leg and bringing it to my right side. The goal is to keep your chest flat to the ground and bring your leg all the way over so it touches the ground on the opposite side. Relax. Last thing we're going to do, we're going to come up, stand up, you're going to have your hands behind your back. You can either interlace your fingers and turn them down, or keep them like this and just, you're going to open that chest up, pull your arms back, and you're going to pull up just a little bit, get that stretch in your shoulders, and both your pec major and your pec minor. Alright, and you relax. Alright guys, that's all we have for you today. Make sure you're staying hydrated, keeping up the good work. Tomorrow you've got Jake for another hit day, and I'll see you guys on Friday for legs. Alright guys, have a good one. Have a great rest of your day.